Those aren't noodles.
Nah, they're not noodles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Fung Bros Explore.
All right, so as you guys know, we live in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which is one of the 5 boroughs of New York, but today we're actually in the second most famous borough of New York, Brooklyn.
But you know that we could not do this episode without a native, Brooklyn Chris.
What's going on, guys? It's Brooklyn Chris. This is my neighborhood, Clinton Hill. It's changed a lot since I've grown up here, but we still got a few cool spots. So let's check them out and
Let's go.
So first off, I'm Dominican. My parents came to this neighborhood from DR, so we're gonna check out one of my favorite spots, El Cofre.
A lot of people get confused about the differences between Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban food, but you said there's one dish that defines Dominican food, which is
Sancocho.
So when you get a combo here at El Cofre, you get the 2 liter. And this ain't the 20 ounce.
So we're eating cafeteria style Dominican food right now. This is the pork mofongo. Andrew, what do you got?
Chicken mofongo.
Right here we got some crispy chicharrones, little pieces of fried chicken.
And these are not like regular cut up pieces. It's like chopped up chicken.
Chopped up
This
chicken,
isn't like the
deep
leg,
fried.
it's not the drumstick, it's like everything's just chopped up.
This is probably the dish Dominicans are most known for, Sancocho. You eat it year round, hot, cold, whatever. You're sick, this will clear it out.
It's like a chicken stew, but it's almost like a chicken noodle soup.
I'd say the 2 desserts that Dominicans are most proud of is our bread pudding and definitely our flan.
Moist and sweet, you can't go wrong. Yo, Dave, we got the 2 liter. You want it in a cup?
Yo, there's no time, man. We gotta head on to the next spot. All right, Chris, we're in front of a staple of any New York neighborhood. We are in front of the Hood Chinese spot.
We're out here in front of Kung Kao. This is a classic, it's been around since 1976. It's so good, in fact, the demand is so high, they don't deliver.
What? I want the people to know that we're not just here because we're Chinese. We are here because it is a staple of this community, actually.
We live near Chinatown, which is more like Chinese food for Chinese people. This is Chinese food for everyone non-Chinese.
A Chinese spot serving the community since '76.
Yo, you guys, have you ever seen drinks like this?
You're not drinking your lemonade out of Tupperware, you're doing it wrong.
I'm gonna show you something that you can only get really at like hood Chinese spots. Those aren't noodles.
Nah, they're not noodles.
It's just 4 chicken wings and French fries.
Yo, how did we walk into a Chinese spot that's been open for 40 years? All we walked out with was Tupperware lemonade and fries and chicken wings.
All right, let's go, man. I gotta try these, man.
Split that apart right there.
That's good.
All right, so we're here downtown Brooklyn, Flatbush Avenue. We're in front of a New York Caribbean chain called Golden Crust. I've actually never eaten here myself.
To hear about a Jamaican chain in America that started in New York, we just don't have Jamaican chains out on the West Coast.
Is this the thing that's got Drake singing the way Drake's singing right now?
It might be, it might be. They don't have Krabby Patties, but they got beef patties. We're gonna check them out.
I need a golden crust.
Yo, Chris, where we at right now?
Right now we're on Nevins, behind the famous Fulton Street Mall. About to take a bite into this beef patty with cocoa bread.
I've seen this. This is a subject of hot debate on Twitter. Some people said that this idea is genius. Some people said otherwise. What's your opinion? Last but not least, we got the round bun from Golden Crust. Just a random pickup. I just gotta call this a chewy cake. So you guys gotta try it. Break out.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's kind of like a rum cake bagel.
Bread on bread might be too much for Brooklyn Chris. I don't know if I can do it, but right now we're in the Fulton Street Mall.
When you say a Fulton Mall, it's like this long strip.
This is also the infamous street where Biggie had that freestyle battle.
Yeah, Fulton's been popping for a long time. Fulton was definitely a pinnacle for hip hop culture. We're here right now. We're gonna get some hot dogs.
I've definitely had worse hot dogs in New York. Fulton dogs keep you moving.
Dr. J's was like the go-to sneaker spot for downtown Fulton. Whatever you needed, whether it was a Dunk release, whether it was Air Force Ones.
I remember they had the original OOTD on their forums, Dr. J Forums, Street Styles.
And I always used to think Dr. J's meant J's as in like Jordans. Dr. J was like the guy who,
Actually,
based
like,
off Dr. J, the
Yeah,
player?
yeah.
Oh, it's based off the player.
Julius Irving. One of the things I forgot to mention, growing up and frequenting this website called Nike Talk, which used to be called Nike Park,
Way back.
they had like so much Brooklyn-centric culture on that website. And me and Andrew used to be on that website a lot growing up. So I feel like that's kind of what like let us know about all these things that when we came later to New York, we gotta like see the things we saw in real life.
If you don't know early 2000s forum culture, you missed out.
Yo, Chris, where are we at? My spidey senses are tingling. This is something that I've seen from Making the Band.
All right, so if you've seen Making the Band, you might remember when Diddy asked them to walk from Harlem to Brooklyn to get cheesecake. This is the spot they came to.
Why is Junior's iconic real quick?
Junior's is iconic. It's one of the Brooklyn staples. It's been here forever. I'm not exactly sure how long, but they've been making cheesecake for a very long time now.
All right, man, let's go experience a slice of Brooklyn. Woo.
Junior's cheesecake is something else because to keep it real, I don't even like red velvet at all generally, and I like the red velvet cheesecake here.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm not a big fan of cheesecake myself, but Junior's never disappoints. Never disappoints.
It's thick, but it's not super as heavy as you think.
All right, Chris, we saw a lot in a short amount of time today. Is there anything else that we got to check out?
You guys are taking up a lot of my time, but you guys like basketball, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's check out the Barclays Center.
Woo.
Welcome to Barclays Center. We made it, fellas. We made it.
Chris, tell us the significance of Barclays Center being built in Brooklyn.
Well,
What was it supposed to do and what did it become?
Barclays Center was one of the biggest developmental pushes that we had here in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. As you see, it went through. People have mixed opinions about it. People have mixed opinions on the building, whether it looks good, whether it's ugly. It was supposed to cause a huge traffic problem, but besides game days, it's okay.
Now, did it create a lot of jobs for the local people like they said it would?
I think it made jobs for some people that live further in the outer boroughs. I find that most people that work at Barclays tend to be from Queens or like deeper in Brooklyn. This area specifically, we got decimated. Rent went up, you know, typical stuff, but it's a nice addition to the neighborhood. I catch a game every now and then.
I feel like that they were going for some weird industrial hipster look with, you know, with the rusted metal. They had to put the AstroTurf on top.
Metal just rusts naturally. Was that supposed to be shiny?
I think it's like reclaimed steel.
Oh, like
repurposed.
recycled, okay.
So they had the AstroTurf on the top. They just added that because of the glare coming off the dome roof. It was insane. I couldn't imagine living in one of these buildings with that.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for showing us as much as you could of one of the major commercial districts of Brooklyn in just a few hours. What are you guys' major takeaways?
Two major takeaways. Number one, I'm really glad that we got to shoot a kind of an exploratory video about Brooklyn before we left New York. Second takeaway is that we grew up consuming a lot of Brooklyn material, especially me and David, over the internet. Now people are taking influences from Brooklyn and kind of creating their own little pieces of New York in their own city and taking all those influences out. But it's really cool to be here physically in the place where all of it started from.
Having you show us old Brooklyn as well as new Brooklyn and kind of the changes. I'm just interested to see where it goes even in like 5 years.
Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that video. It was really fun, it was very interesting. Thank you to Brooklyn Chris, and until next time, we out. Peace.
Yo, Chris, thank you so much for doing that video of Fung Bros Explore with us, man.
Great having you guys, dude. Anytime you guys come back to the East Coast, hit me up. I'll show you around. We'll check out some more neighborhoods. You can find me on Instagram at DieterGrams with a Z.
All right, Brooklyn Chris, man. Thank you, brother.
Be safe, safe travels. Till next time.
All right, man. Peace.